Hey guys, how are you? Happy Monday. I hope you had plenty of time to stitch last week. I did so-so. Had a good week. Got to see some interesting stuff at work. Went to a sort of a venue managers, like the society, like a CPA, you know, or engineers, architects have a society where there's a society for venue management. So anyway, I went to one of their meetings last week and got a tour of a really cool building. Anyway, had a good week. Not a lot of stitching because we were busy several days during the week. So, yeah, let's just jump right in with the good old progress report. So I am working on the Pansy Pixie from Nora Corbett. Right there. She is my at-work lunch project. And like I was saying earlier, it was kind of a busy week, so I was only in the office for lunch 2 days, 3 days maybe of the week. I don't know. But here she is. I finished up just the little bit down here that I needed to do on this side of her dress, so I shifted the hoops over and I started on, well, what I've been doing is I do one length of the Kreinik and then one length of this, and just kind of been going back and forth so I don't tire myself out on the Kreinik. So that is where we are with her. She's just coming along really nice. Love all of those purples. Maybe next week, the week after that, something like that. Maybe I'll get all the way down with her dress and then we can move up and start putting her bodice on. So that is where I am at with Pansy. Let's tidy this up. Silly cat, I'll show you what she's up to later. So the next project I worked on, it comes with the, well, I asked last week what the name of the Nora Corbett or the Mirabilia pattern is that has the alphabet, and then there's the pansy, the feather, and the pear on the bottom. And you guys came back to me and said, oh yes, that's Nora's alphabet. And so that's what I had thought it was, and so I had been searching on it, searching the internet for it, and I haven't found it yet. But I thought, I have seen this pattern in the recent past. I was flipping through a box of patterns and I saw it and I held it in my hand and then I put it back. I don't know why I put it back, but I held it in my hand and then I put it back. And now I'm like, oh, I have to have that. Don't you hate it how that happens sometimes? We're like, and then all of a sudden it's yes. Anyway, so I thought perhaps that I had seen it at Shepherd's Bush. So on Saturday I went up to Shepherd's Bush in Ogden, 86 miles, one way. What else was I doing with my Saturday? Not a lot, you guys. Anyway, they did not have Nora's alphabet, but they had this cute little forget-me-not kit and little sewing bag. So there is what it is supposed to be. And I started this on, I'm going to zipper this close. I started this on Sunday in the morning. I worked on it some in the morning, I worked on it some at church, I worked on it in the afternoon, and it is all done. All done. Well, I should put my initials on it, but I didn't. And I know it's kind of crooked here, but the linen's crooked. My stitches are straight, but where the bag is sewn together, it is not straight. It doesn't follow the same line of linen. So that was fun. It was actually not too bad to stitch. I stitched it, how did I stitch it? I stitched it like this with my hoop on the front part, and then I could just hold the bag bit, you know, off to the side as I worked on it. So when it's facing this way, my stitches go the opposite direction as all my other pieces, but if you hold it this way, my stitches are going the same way as all my other pieces, but since they're going all the same way on the same piece, who cares? Who cares? Anyway, so it is absolutely darling. So I think I will just need to, well, I should stitch my initials and completion date on it. And then I want to put my, since I'm driving across the country next week, I want to put my scissors and my floss and stuff in for my little travel project. So I think my little travel project is going to be little Lizzie Kate's A Little Love. So I think. So that is everything that I worked on for the progress report. Now, as mentioned, there are indeed some stashquisitions. So I did go up to Shepherd's Bush, bought this cute little thing, started it, stitched it, done. Bought a couple of needles, because you always need needles. I need this, Weeks for A Little Love. I bought a pair of DMC for Pansy. I'm almost out of this stuff, and this is the wrong color. I already had this color. I had not written down a color that I don't have, so I still need to go and get some floss. They were only charging 50 cents for the DMC at Shepherd's Bush, which is now the same as what they're charging at Joann's and Michael's and whatever, so why not? I was there, I picked it up. It's no great loss that I bought one that I didn't need because I already had it, because I'm a ditz. And then because I love me some Lizzie Kate, I bought the Three Little Words collection. So, you know, be kind always, forgive and move on. You've got this, be you bravely, today choose joy, never give up, make it happen, dreaming is free, and embrace the journey, life is good. So I picked all of those up, simple little packet. I already had them in a bag for me. I think it's Joe Gregoire who is stitching them all singly and putting them in frames and just, you know, hanging them all right above each other, and I think that's absolutely darling. And so Joe, I am going to copy you and stitch these all individually and then put them in little different frames and just have a wonderful time with them. So those, that is the last bit of stuff that I purchased, well, when I went to Shepherd's Bush on Saturday. All right, we had some stuff come in the mail. As you know, we are doing the Stitchy Box, Patriotic Box. So I filmed a little clip of that earlier. So here is that clip of me opening all the things. Hi guys, it's Bright. Let's open up some more of the Stitchy Box Patriotic Days Patriotic Box. So we will start with day number 11. See what is in here. Make a mess of the package. And Princess has joined us. She heard me start rattling the paper, so she's come running. This feels like floss. And indeed it is. Nothing else in there? Nope, 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 nope. Oh, nothing else is in there. Here you go, kitty. This is a limited edition colorway from Gast. Beautiful soft blue. And it says that this is Old Glory. Very appropriate. Alright, day 12. This is going to be a pattern of some sort, I am going to assume. Traditionally they have been. Hang on, I need scissors. Shouldn't be a problem. The entire room's a craft room. There should be scissors in here somewhere. Somewhere. Okay. Should have thought to open these up before, but sometimes planning ahead is not our strong suit at all times. Alright, so this is a cute little square ornament. 1776. That is really darling. So there is day 12. This is day 13. It's the prize for my birthday. Let's carefully open this up. Hopefully. What do we have here? Ah, it is a little bit of perforated paper. You guys know what perforated paper looks like? It looks like that. Deek, deek. I hate perforated paper. Well and truly I do. I think it's evil. Alright, day 14. This is kind of round. Maybe it is like a fancy pants bead. Open this up. It is indeed. Let's pull this out. Boink. Twisted puff glass beads. These are kind of cool. See that? Kind of twisted, puffy. A nice light blue. Those are kind of pretty. Very nice. Set those up here. Day 15. It's kind of a large, hard, square thing. Ah! It is a tiny pair of scissors. Those are cute. Look how big those, these you guys, these, airplane approved. Airplane approved. Because your blade has to be shorter than, I think it's 3 inches is what it is. And those are barely an inch. I bet they're not even an inch. Let's measure. Nope, not even an inch, maybe half an inch. Perfect for airplanes. That was day 15. Tuck that in there. Wonderful, wonderful. Here's the tag that tells us all about it. Traveling scissors. What did I tell you? Day 16. This is floppy. I bet it's a fabric of some sort. Might be a fabric, might be a finishing fabric. It is a fabric. This is Liberty 32 count linen from hand dyed by Stephanie. It doesn't actually give us the name of it, but as you can see, it is red, white, and, well, okay, it's red and blue, and all mottled and really pretty. That is a fun one, a very, very fun one. I'll put that back in its bag so that the tag that tells me what count it is all stays together. So that is day 16. And today's day 17, and day 17 did not come in my box, so I've emailed Liz and said I didn't get a 17. And I've looked all over the place for 17, so she's going to send me another 17. So that's all for Stitchy Box. Lots of fun stuff. I've already adopted the little tiny pair of scissors, and I think it'll go in my bag for my travel stuff. They will certainly get past screening at the airport when I fly home, so looking forward to that. I had also ordered a couple of Liz's birthday boxes back, birthday surprise packs, and so those came, and I opened a pair of those, so let's look at that clip. The sun's playing peekaboo behind some clouds, so our lighting might go bright, might go a little less bright. I kind of like how it is right now with the sun mostly behind some clouds. It's giving us some really nice light. I got my Stitchy Box order the other day that had the surprise birthday packs in it. And the thing that had taken forever for it to give me was I ordered an extra piece of this touch of blue linen that came in the original box. So I ordered some of this because it's really pretty and it took forever to come in. So that was the big delay on my order for the Stitchy Box birthday packs. And today is my birthday. I'm glad they're here. So I am going to open, I got 2 of the super massive birthday packs. And on my receipt, Liz said one of these was an extra big one. I think it's this one, I'm not really sure, but this one too. So we're just going to open up both of them and see what's inside, because happy birthday to me. I got some smaller ones that I'm going to add into the pile of stuff for the giveaway whenever I get everything gathered up and figured out what I want to give away, because we know I'm kind of slow with that. Slow. So this is the first supersized birthday pack. So let's pull the seal. Let's see what is inside. Okay. This is a little box that says Happy Stitching. Open it up. And it is one of those cute little pin cushion rings with the flexible adjustable band. Just like that. Mine came in purple. I love it. Purple is my favorite color, as you guys all know. That is a lot of fun. Super, super adorable. Absolutely adorable. Alright, what have we got here? We have one of the Gentle Arts special colorway things. I'm going to have to try to look it up and figure out which one this is so I can put it with my other Gentle Arts special colorway things. We have a lovely bit of Tudor silk in pumpkin. And a lovely bit of Tudor silk in cinnamon roll. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And let's see. This is a 36 count linen. It's 18 by 17. Lakeside linen in River Willow. So it looks like it's a really nice brownie green. Really a generous cut. You could do a lot of stuff. Lots of options for that fabric. It's very pretty. Very, very pretty. Excuse me. So that's fantastic. Pleased as punch. Pleased as punch. Fold that up. So there you go. Fantastic. So that's everything that came in the first little box of goodies. Well, bag of goodies. Here you go, cat. Cat toy. Oh, she is in a playful mood. I'm gonna have to get out the laser pointer and have her chase it around. All right, so this is the second box, and it said this was one of the large, upsized, upgraded boxes. Packages. It's not a box. It's a package. Whatever. You guys understand what I'm talking about. Let's pull everything out. Oh my goodness, it is a little bit of everything. Alright, what have we got? We have Gloriana Silk Floss, limited edition, no name, no number, no repeat. It is a glorious, really pretty dark brown. Really nice dark brown. What is this? This is an amazing blue. I'm going to have to guess it's a silk by the feel of it. No tag, no number. It's a mystery. Mystery, mystery, mystery. Really quite lovely. This is a Dinky Dye Silks in Trick or Treat. Isn't that pretty? I know I have a little bit of that already. This is 40 count linen, a half mocha by Week Star Works. What was I thinking I wanted to start on a 40 count? There was something. There was something. Anyway, 40 count linen. Oh, what on earth was? Something has got away. It is a very, can you see that? It is a very, okay, so this is half of it. It folds out right more on that side. So that is a massive piece of linen. Look at that. Look at that. I think I have just found the fabric that perhaps I will stitch Coffee Quaker on. I think Coffee Quaker would look beautiful on that. What do you guys think? A little Coffee Quaker? A little bit of that? Oh. There's a Jardine Privé pattern that I'm thinking about getting. It's a Halloween theme one. That would look nice on this. Yeah? Yeah? Ooh. That is a gorgeous chunk of stuff. Let's see. This, isn't that a pretty little bead? Was wrapped up in the fabric. It's glass. Nice and flat. I could probably glue a magnet to it and make myself a needle minder. Is it a bead? Let's look. Not seeing a hole, but pretty, huh? little charm. And then last of all, we have a My Heart for You Stitchy Box Presents little kit from when they were doing those darling kits with Keslin's. Yeah, Keslin's. She's the designer of it. So there's that. And it has our fabric, it has our floss, and it has the beads. So that's definitely a giant upscaled, wonderful package of everything. I'm totally thrilled. So, excellent mail day today, and we'll see you on the other side of the room. Good stuff, right? I'm kind of excited about that 40 count. It is a huge piece of 40 count. I can get a lot of little projects off of that, or maybe one big project. I don't know. I might actually have to buy a Coffee Quaker. I'm in the group in the Stitch Along, and I love seeing all your projects, but I haven't bought it yet. Haven't started it yet, but that might be some good fabric to do that on. The very last little bit of Stashquisitions came from a lovely lady on Stash Unload. She was selling off a whole bunch of patterns. Of course, they're all pansies. She even had some other pansy things that I could not get a hold of because one of you me pleased them before I had a chance to. Shake my fist at you in annoyance. Give me all the pansies. Anyway, so here are the three little books that I ordered from her. So this is Stony Creek Collection, Samplers to Treasure. And of course, here is the fantastic one with the pansies, right? Super cute. Love the spray on top. Love the little gardening pot and the pansies on the bottom. Absolutely adorable. So that has arrived. This one is also Stony Creek. It is Stitched for Comfort. So you can see right here is a big old pansy on a pillow. And on the back, they have sort of a bouquet, a left and a right facing pansy, and then here is that single pansy again, all done on an Afghan. So that is really quite fun. Thought those were cute. Plus there's fruit and angels and barns in here. So yeah, lots of other things I could stitch. I'm gonna stitch the pansies. So there is that. And then the last little leaflet I picked up is Spring Finery in Waste Canvas, and has this little wreath of pansies. I'm not going to stitch it in waste canvas at all. Nope, nope, nope. I'm gonna stitch it on the normal. Something cute. So there you go. That is everything that I have collected in the past week. It was a little bit more than what I had expected, but all fun, all the same. Last week was my birthday, and I had ordered a surprise box from Stitchy Box for your birthday, where Liz sort of customizes it for you. It hadn't arrived when it hadn't arrived on Saturday, so I emailed her this morning and said, where is my order? And she looked at her spreadsheet and she says, oh, I have it set to send out August 5th. And I said, okay, thank you. It was probably me. My birthday was last Thursday, and I told her to send it out in August and not July because I'm a ditz. Have a hard time with dates and numbers. I'm an accountant. Don't ask questions. Oopsie. So sometime in August, I'm going to get an awesome birthday surprise from the birthday box. Spread out the giving all year long. All right. Where are we at? Where are we at? So we've done that. We've done this. We have not done this. Let's take a moment to give the shout outs to our Floobies. All right, I have written down 4 new stitchers this week. I know there were a lot more. I'm officially about 2 weeks behind now, you guys, just because I haven't been at the desk a lot to check some stuff out, but we'll see. Hopefully, I will be able to get caught up with everybody's, their Flosstube videos. It's probably going to be another month or so because I will be away from the computer for a full week when I drive across country next week. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of hope of getting caught up soon, but I'll get to you guys, and I'll get the shout outs to you guys when I get to you. So apologies if you're not on the list. It's going to be about another 2 weeks before I do the next shout outs to our newbies. But yeah, I'm rambling now. So anyway, the first stitcher that I met was Sonia G. Stitches. She is returning to cross stitch after a 10-year break. She is working on Lizzie Kate's 4-season flippets, you know, spring, summer, autumn, fall, and has completed spring. She has done some personalizations to it. So she is, anyway, it looks cute whether she is miscounted or not, but we all know those miscounts are personalizations. Next is Jenny X Stitches. She's working on a darling project with a dog in multicolors. It looked to me like she normally streams on Twitch Creative and then has just recorded this and then uploaded it to YouTube. And so it's a recording of a live broadcast where she's interacting with whoever watches her live. So she was super cute, and the dog pattern was absolutely adorable. I wanted to say he's a heeler or a shepherd of some kind because he has the big ol' pointy up ears, but darling, darling dog. Go check her out. The next stitcher I ran across is Yanni Stitches. She starts us off with the Know Your Needle Worker tag. She is from Mexico and is an amazing stitcher, you guys. Behind her, she just has this amazing wall of mirabilia finishes and varies and stuff. And seriously, guys, wow. So go check her out. She's absolutely darling. She reminds me of one of my aunts who did come from Mexico. So she's adorable. Love her. The last stitcher that I met was Schoolhouse Stitcher. She shows off some of her finishes and whips. She is working on one of the Hawk Run Hollow charts. I'm sure she told us which one, but I'm a ditz and I didn't catch it. And I was lazy because with YouTube you can back things up and figure it out, but I didn't because lazy. She gives us her whip parade, and there were just so many cute projects that she had shown off and was sharing with us, and it was a lot of fun. Very good stuff. So, let's see, we've done that, which means it's time for the Battle Cow Adventures. Doo, 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 doo. That was weird. It was weirder than normal, guys. Alright, Battle Cow Adventures. I didn't do a lot of adventuring this week. I dropped out of my normal tomb and heroic tomb runs just because those nights my head was just, had a headache. It was just splitting halfway open. Not pleasant, so I curled up on the sofa in the dark and didn't do anything on those 2 days. Did run some Mythic Plus content with my guild. We had a good time. I got a lot of boring old Mythic Zeros done for the Balance of Power quest line. Got a bunch of stuff done for the Karazhan Attunement, so we can do a Return to Karazhan Mythic Keys now. Yeah, that's just that. Having a good time. Doing some stuff. I've signed up for Tomb Normal this week. Hopefully, well, that'll be tomorrow. Hopefully work will be an easy day and my head will not be just trying to split in half, fall off, run away, do the things that it sometimes does. So just regular old life updates. I mentioned that we had gone to an IVAM chapter meeting on Tuesday of last week. It was held up at the LDS Conference Center. Most of our meetings were in the little tiny theater that is attached to the conference building. The conference building itself can hold 21,000 people. We had some great speakers. We had the assistant DA, District Attorney for the state. He came and talked to us about some legal issues that were really, really interesting. He talked about the new alcohol law that Utah has passed. The .05 is a DUI, which was hilarious because Colorado sent us an email that basically said, oh, thanks for sending, you know, sent us, the state of Utah. It was just marketing. That was like, oh, thanks for cutting down, you know, your thing from a 0.08 to a 0.05. We have the skiing and everybody will come to us and it'll be wonderful. And the DI chuckled and laughed and said, well, Colorado's DUI is already a 0.08. Or not a 0.08, a 0.05. Colorado is already a 0.05 and they're mocking us for coming down to a 0.05. Which was interesting because then he read a list of countries where the DUI is 0.05. You know, like France is a 0.05, Japan is a 0.05. There are some countries where it's zero tolerance. It's 0.0. If you have any alcohol in your blood, it's a DUI. And the interesting thing is I wouldn't cancel my trip to France just because they have a DUI of 0.05. And in this day and age, we got Uber. You just call you an Uber and they take you home and you're fine. A 0.05 is 2.5 glasses of wine. Keep in mind you metabolize your alcohol at about 0.01 an hour. So depending upon how fast you're drinking, you got at least 2 drinks in you. So whatever, but zero drinking and driving is always the better option. So anyway, I just wandered off the subject there completely just because of interestingness and politics. So he talked about the new 0.05 that goes into effect in 2018. He talked about gun laws in Utah, where they are allowed, where they're not allowed, the concealed carry permit, private property versus public property, which was very interesting. If you know Utah, Utahns overall are very, very pro-gun. Utah State overall is very, very, you take care of yourself, you know, hands-off government, except when it comes to alcohol. So, you know, that's just kind of a weird dichotomy we got going on. He talked about some of the ADA laws when it comes to service animals. What counts as a service animal, what does not count as a service animal, the questions you can ask somebody who is asking for ADA accommodations, this, that, and the other. Very, very interesting. According to federal law, the only animals allowed as an ADA certified service animal are dogs. In Utah, we also let you have a miniature horse. Go figure. And then the last issue he talked about was the issue with transgender or gender neutral bathrooms, which was also, you know, a very interesting thing. And he's kind of, you know, what Utah thinks about it, and public property, public entities can do versus private entities, you know, sort of what you can do about that. So it was really an interesting conversation when it comes to all the legalities and what the law says and how you can accommodate your guests and, you know, this and that and the other. And of course, he warned us all that if you ask any lawyer his opinion, you'll get about 5. So anyway, it was just a really, really interesting discussion. In conjunction with being up at the conference center, we got to go on a tour of the conference center, and not just the everyday stuff that you get to see when you come up to Temple Square and do the public tour. Well, since we were, you know, part of IVAM, they showed us more stuff, more behind the scenes stuff. We went into the basement and saw where all the audio-visual stuff is put together to put on general conference, how many cameras, how many producers, how many rooms, where the interpreters are, where the American Sign Language translation happens, how they bring some of that together. That was very, very fascinating. We saw where some of the stuff is archived. They have, I kid you not, beta tapes, VSA tape players, 3/8" reel-to-reel. They had reel-to-reel. They had 8mm. I mean, just players of all this vast media, because as you know, media has grown and changed over the years. And so they had pretty much every single analog media player, and then, you know, some of the things that we switched to digital. And so the fellow who was talking to us through their audio-visual portion says that if we have to dig up an analog thing and translated. It's, you know, converted to digital, but that's why they still have all the analog stuff. So that was super interesting. We got to meet with the security detail. They told us, you know, about how they've checking security, how they move security when they're trying to load the building for general conference. 21,000 people. They said they have half an hour to empty the building, and then about an hour and 15 minutes, give or take, to load the building again. If you're LDS, you know that general conference, there's a 2-hour break between each session, and so they're really working it to get everybody in an organized fashion, in a safe fashion, scanning your bags, looking through your possessions, looking for anything that could cause a problem. They have a robot, they have a dog, they have a portable x-ray machine. Fascinating stuff. Absolutely fascinating as far as it goes for their security guys. What else? We went up to the roof of the building. Not all of you know, but there is a meadow growing on the roof of the conference center in downtown Salt Lake as it flows from east to west in conjunction with the valley. East represents the top of the mountains, and they have some spruce and pine trees on the top of the building. You come through the high elevation meadow and then out into sort of the valley, the meadows and stuff. And so they've got a full ecosystem going up there. And we got to talk with the head gardener, and he just told us a little bit about how everything's taken care of, you know, what they try to look forward to, how they maintain the balance of the watering. They try really, really hard to maintain the rain you get is the rain those plants get. They do very minimal irrigation. Absolutely fascinating, really interesting. It was 100 degrees plus up there on the roof while we were wandering through the meadow looking at everything. He did mention that they have had raccoons who will come up to the top of the building who have made their home there. They haven't had deer up on top of the building yet, but any number of birds have made their home. They had raccoons for sure. Like a coyote, one of those urban coyotes had come up and checked things out, but the coyote wasn't living up there. Anyway, gardening stuff. Really, really interesting. The next place we visited was backstage, back behind the organ pipes, the choir loft. If you watch Music in the Spoken Word, which is broadcast on Sunday mornings, depending upon where you are in the channel it's on. It might be broadcast in the morning, might be broadcast in the evening. Here where I am, it's on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. If you've ever seen Music in the Spoken Word, you've seen the organ, then the choir loft kind of below it, and then usually below that it's flat where the orchestra sits, and sometimes they have the bells of Temple Square. This is, you know, they're hanging onto their bells and doing the, anyway, bells of Temple Square sometimes perform with them too. So we got to go backstage, and the choir loft was put in place, and the stage was set for Music in the Spoken Word, so it was set for the orchestra. But if you've ever seen it during conference, you know that the area where the choir sits becomes rows of seating for the general authorities and the presidency. So all of those pieces were backstage, tucked away, stored very, very nicely. We got to learn about how they moved these 2,000 pieces of, we'll call it a set for, you know, lack of a better word. There's about 25 pieces that make up the rows that the presidency and the general authorities sit on. Everything has to go in place in a certain order. It's all built on a metal substructure, and then the wood and the carpet and everything, you know, dresses it up. Basically, think of an air hockey table, you know, when you turn that on and the little jets of air shoot up, and that's what makes your puck slide all over the air hockey table like that. Well, imagine, you know, like a 1 square foot thing of that turned upside down, so that's on the floor. They pump their little hovercraft air hockey table things full of air. It raises the substructure that the set is put on, and 2 guys can pretty much push and maneuver these sets in place. Absolutely fascinating. He had one of the little sets, or the substructures, you know, all set up with the air compressor and anything. Turned it on, that thing rose in the air about 1 inch. I mean, you could really just hardly any push on it, and if that thing would just, you know, start to float back and forth, and really fascinating. Of course it moves fast is because they have eliminated all friction. Anyway, so that was really fascinating talking to him backstage. We saw a lot of, you know, other bits backstage, you know, where they store some of this, where they store some of that, how this is moved, how that is moved. You know, it's 85 feet from the floor backstage to the bottom of the catwalk, you know. Fascinating, wonderful stuff. And then our last stop on our tour was front of house. We went down and talked to the head lighting engineer. He joked that all he does is change light bulbs for his job. And so somebody asked, how many light bulbs does it take? How many people, how many light bulbs? You guys, I've been talking too long. How many people does it take to change a light bulb in the conference center? And his answer was 3 to 7. It depends. You need 1 mook in a harness up there on the catwalks to do the actual changing the light bulb. You need mook number 2 in a harness up on the catwalk behind mook number 1 with the radio, so, you know, mook number 3 down on the floor can keep people away from the area where they are changing the light bulb in case anything drops. Anything dropped from 85 feet up, when it comes down, it's going to hurt. So since they are open for tours, they try to keep people away from the area where it is the light bulbs being changed out. So there's your 3 minimum. He also said depending upon how the particular light is in the system, there's a lot of backup redundancy, double stuff going on. You know, you might need somebody in, you know, control room east to do stuff. You might need somebody in control room west to do stuff, depending on what you're doing. So you're up to 5 people. And then there were 2 more people that had jobs to do depending upon the bulb, the size of bulb, the type of bulb, you know, turn power on or off or whatever. It was crazy. It was absolutely fascinating. Anyway, he talked about some of the lighting stuff, how it's engineered, how it's put together, the double redundancy going back and forth so that if one power grid goes out, the other one hopefully has not and they can keep running it. They have backup generators. They have just stuff to keep the lights up and running, and it was absolutely fascinating. Absolutely amazing. So that is the brief tour of the conference center of Salt Lake City. Absolutely fascinating, just really cool. One last thing about the conference center is one of our tour guides mentioned that the building was engineered to hold a lot of people, hold a lot of weight. They say that when the building is fully loaded with a full live load, so they got 21,000 guests in the building, plus the security guys, plus the camera guys, plus everybody there who is to make the production work, the building sinks about 2 inches into the ground. 21,000 people, the building sinks 2 inches. Absolutely fascinating. Building empties up, the building rises up. So compression of soils, stuff like that. There might be some water underneath that the building pushes out, which is why it rises back up so easily. I'm sure the building was engineered to do that. Engineers are smart cookies, you guys. Anyway, so that was our tour of that. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating and wonderful. That was a very long day. That was Tuesday was when we went up and did that. I had to drive home in the middle of rush hour traffic, and it was rushy and it was trafficky and it was terrible, so I had a headache when I came home, which is why I didn't raid. So there is that. Last Thursday was my birthday. I went out to eat lunch with one of my good friends who also works up there at the university. We went out. We went over to Molly's, which is the name of the place. I had the beef brisket and some delicious crock-pot potatoes, not crock-pot, Dutch oven skillet potatoes, an amazing baked bean mix that was so delicious, you guys. It was absolutely delicious. And they had carrot cake. My favorite cake is carrot cake, so I had to buy me a piece of carrot cake for my birthday. It was wonderful. It was fantastic. My friend was a little insulted that I hadn't told her that it was my birthday, and I did buy my own lunch. And I'm like, you don't understand. We don't do things for birthdays in my family. So that was that. It was a lot of fun. And so there's 2 days that I wasn't home at my desk for... to work on my at-work lunch break project, so that's why Pansy didn't get a whole heck of a lot of work going on this past week. The last crazy thing that we have going on at work is the ticket office is under construction. 2 weeks ago, they came in and with an asbestos remediation team, sealed off the entire ticket office, took out the insulation and the tiles and whatnot that did contain asbestos. This building was built at the time when asbestos was commonly used. So it was safely removed out of the building. So that was 1 week. The next week, last week, they came in and started tearing out walls and tearing out carpet, and it is noisy and it is dusty. And our usual path to go use a restroom is most of our restrooms are upstairs on the concourse level. The ticket offices and where my office is are one level below. So we usually go out the doors from my office, over up a set of stairs, upstairs to the concourse to use the restrooms. We don't like doing that when that's under construction, so now we go out the emergency door and over to the emergency stair door, back in and upstairs. So that has been an adjustment, and it's been kind of hot out too. It was really fun the 2 days where the air conditioning didn't work because they had to shut down the fans because of the construction so that the dust and stuff wouldn't get sucked up into the fans and then distributed all over the place. So, what you gonna do? I took a couple of pictures, so I'll insert a couple of those pictures here. Oh, that was clumsy, guys. I'll insert a couple of pictures of what it looks like now, and the deconstruction is not complete yet, so they've still got like another week of tearing stuff out and just removing all the things, and I don't know what. It's crazy. So much stuff. So much stuff. Had I been a smart girl, I would have taken before pictures so you could see what the ticket office looked like before. They totally tore it apart. So it's been fun. And I think that's everything. So thank you everybody who watches and comments and subscribes. I really appreciate it. I'm working on putting the video together so you can have something tiny to watch next week while I am on the road headed out to the good old Pennsylvania. I found out that we go through Omaha, which is where Julie McConnell, you know, Reflection, Stitching, and Framing. She's right off the freeway where we're going to be going, except we're going to go through there on a Sunday, and they're not open. So I don't get to go visit Julie, and her store looks beautiful. So I'm sad. Sadness. Anyway, yeah, next week, probably, well, it'll be a small video. I recorded all of my Pansy things, so I need to edit that and get that ready to go. So you will get the tour of Pansy patterns next week, and then maybe, I don't know if I'll be up for a video on the 31st. We'll see. We'll see. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope you get all the stitchy time in that you need. I hope that frog stays far, far away from you guys. Hugs and stitches, everybody. Bye. You're such a mess.